So this is let's get started with editing in our WordPress website. I'm just gonna show the simple basics like editing text, uploading and editing images, moving stuff around, duplicating it and deleting it. You can insert stuff from a library, which means that you can save parts of your website. For example, if I wanted to save, let's say, this part right here, I could just insert it wherever I wanted on the website, just by a few clicks. And then we're gonna go over how to create new stuff. For example, if you want to create a new section and you can create some text, stuff like that. I'm gonna show you how to do that as well. And then we'll look into responsive features in Divi. If you want something to look different on mobile, for example, it does it by default. You don't have to do anything. It's going to be responsive no matter what. But if you want to enhance it even more, or if you want to, for example, show something only on bigger screens and hide it on a smartphone, it's also possible by just clicking a few buttons. So this part will only be the front end. So let's get started. Okay, so what you see here, the first thing I want to do is if I want to edit something, let's go to another page than the front page. Let's just click around. For example, about Freetrailer. Okay, so we have some different sections and different stuff that we can play around with. To enable the visual builder and start editing, we go to activate visual builder. And it's just gonna load the screen again. When you see this part in the URL, you know you're at the right place. So the first thing you notice is that when I point at stuff, you can see that the sections are highlighted, and we have like, this is a full width section. You can see that because it's purple. Right here we have a normal section with a container. Actually, I'm just gonna go into a larger mode. We have the container, which is the row, and then we have elements, which is they're dark gray. You also see we have plus buttons. So if I go to an element, that's always going to be add new element. The same with the rows. I can create another row underneath this, and the same with the sections or blocks or whatever you want to call them. But in order to, well, the easiest way to change text is actually, if I want to have another headline, I can actually just press here and say, okay, now it's Denmark and Norway, or hello. Well, basically it's just extremely easy. It's point and click, and you can just type. You can also use shortcodes. So for example, Command C to undo, and Command S to save. So if you want to save, you can either go down here and you can click save, or you can just use the short key, Command or Control S, just like in any other program like Word or stuff like that. So point and click, that's basically it. Let's look for an image. Okay, so we got, this is since it's purple, it's a full width element. And I know that this is just an image. It also says here full width image. Find image, and just click. If we want to upload another image, we can just accept the image right here. If we, accept, undo, redo, stuff like that, or decline. It's as simple as that. Let's not save into something new this time. Yeah, one more example. I can write my own name and save, but that would be ridiculous, I guess. Okay, so that's one way of editing text. The next way is to actually hover the element. It could be this element. So this element is a full width headline, and there's a content part and a design part. The design part has all kinds of features. For example, if you want to change the text size, or should it be centered or not centered, etc. But let's go back to this part. So we have like title and subheader, is what I call it, or subtitle. And you can see this line is actually equals to this, and this is equal to that part. For the most part in these sections, you'll actually find the text down here, and you should go to the text part because I put some classes on. But in this particular case, on this page, I just used the text up here. It doesn't really matter too much, I guess. This is a text field. I can write like this, undo, or I can go like this, and it's actually gonna put this thing up here, so I can see what I write in a more bit. I think it's better. I guess it's preference. What you see right here is actually what I talked about before, because there's actually some style applied to this. So this is like a header with a, let's show it like this. It's a h2 tag, and it has a class called the title big, and the text beneath it is not, it's not just a regular text that is just made bigger. It's actually a class that applies a different style to it, so we get the look that we want. If we go down here, you can see this text is smaller than this text. They're both paragraphs, but this text also has the subtitle big. And if we see this in a live case, I guess I don't think we use title hero on this page, but if we use title hero, it would be like this. This is the same size as title hero. This is title big. Title big again, subtitle big, and title big. Yeah, okay, so we didn't use title hero anywhere, but up here you would probably use or find title hero on all other pages except for this one actually. Back to this. If we want to, for example, let's say there's something we don't want to show on mobile. For example, it could be that this picture, let's say that we wanted some other picture which showed up better on mobile. I could actually go to say, okay, we take this row. You can also do the same exact thing on an element, but we would go to advanced, and then it's in Danish it's synlighed. Yeah, I haven't seen it in English yet, but here you can actually just, if we want to deactivate this for a phone, I just simply press here, say OK. Then if I go on a phone, I'm just not gonna see this part. So it's very simple like that. Let's take another example. This is it's a toggle, which is like if you click on it, this text is gonna show up. So we have like title and the content. Very basic stuff. The next thing, if we want one more, let's talk about the duplicate function right here. So we have whenever you hover something, you have move, settings, duplicate, save to library, and delete. Let's start by showing the duplicate, because that's really so easy. So we just duplicate it. Let's say, okay, this section, it's pretty cool right here. We could use that somewhere else. So I would say, okay, let's take the entire row. Whoops. And let's just drag it. Let's go down here to the bottom and say, okay, this is what we want. So we have introduction. Let's have it right here. Or we can just delete it again. Maybe we have this part and we want to save it. We can just save it to library, give it a name, choose where you want to save it to. You can also choose not to pick any category. It's going to show up anyway. Here's one thing to really take notice of. This thing says save as global. And if you save as global, it's going to end up like this part where it's shining bright green. And what you notice is that if I change something right here, it's gonna, and I can reuse this complete globally section, and whatever change I make on this page, it's also gonna apply to all other pages using the same section. In that way, you don't have to make changes to every single small page. You can just do it one way. So if you have something that you know that you're gonna reuse, for example, it could be, this would be a good part to actually make global, because if I want to show this somewhere else and I figure out, okay, I want to add more logos, I just do it one place, and yeah, you get it, right? In this case, you can just use replace image. I show that in another video, and since this is one image, I would probably do it like that. But let's say that I actually took the time to make a, like, let's just show it. Like we have like 5 logos. Okay, I would just use images, big ping, just for an example. I could keep copying. Yeah, it's basically it's drag and drop, and say, let's say we put all of them here, and I just wanted, okay, the another section, and let's say, okay, so there's so much space. I would go to design, and there is spacing. So maybe we wanted to have a little bit less spacing, and maybe we think that the space here is too big. I can also go to scaling, and I can make this part a little bit smaller. I see actually this image is so small, so it's not really gonna fit. I can either, actually, I'm just gonna show you some cool thing. Right now what I'm doing is that I press Control Alt C, and then I just point, and I press, like copy and paste, except you press both Control Alt and C, and then obviously V for paste. What it does is that whatever you point your mouse on, if I wanted to, for example, take this part, go to design, make it centered, and I say, oh shit, I have to do that for all of these. No, what I just do is copy, paste, 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 and you get the idea.
Oh wait, we can't release.
So I'm just gonna delete those again. Let's say that we wanted to add a new section, regular, just full width. Then you get these different kinds of options. Most common one for you will probably text, maybe some toggle, but definitely text, and also a button, for example. I'll show you a button as well. And then images. You might also see this is a blurb. In Danish it's translated so badly, but a blurb, it's this part right here. Basically it's an image with text, and that's it. So let's say I have some text. We can make like a headline, and let's go like this. Okay, we also want, yeah, you see this is where I choose the layout, so I can go and make a layout just like this. Take the text. I can also style the text, so text direction, so it's centered. And maybe now I'm adding a new element. Maybe I want to add a button as well. So I go to the button. There's some weird error where the text or the link text is blue, or it's like the primary color. Let's say click me, and we want to link it to this place, which is a dummy link. Oh, it should be centered to match the rest. I go to text color, light. Okay, so now we have a button. But if you want to have it like a green button because all the buttons will show up blue. We can go to advanced and apply this class. It's called the button or BTN primary, and you will find all of these CSS classes right here. DK Elementor. It's not finished right now, but when you watch this movie, I guess it will be finished. This is a work in progress. Let's see, CSS classes. Okay, so common class says used. Yeah, I guess it will go here. I actually show this example with the primary button right here, but enough about that. Let's say this is like a blurb which says bagside text in Danish. So we have title, we have the description, we can link, we can use icons, we can also not, we can use custom images, we can also style that. Do we want the icon on top or do we want it on the left? Let's say we want it on the left, and we also want the text to be on the left. This would be a way to do it. If you want to make something full width, we can just go to the row. We can go to scale and make it full width. And just yeah, it's easy and a quick way to achieve that thing. So I guess this is how you're gonna manage simple edits to the website and maintain it. Point and click, basically. It's a drag and drop. Always remember to save. I always use the command S on my Mac, and it just works perfectly.